Thank you for listening and welcome to the Life Podcast, a proud member of the Eventide Entertainment Podcast Network. I'm your host, Don Smith. It's the end of the year and time to take a listen back at some of my favorite Life radio show moments from the past year. Enjoy. If you enjoy the show, like and follow the Life 1069 on Facebook and Don Smith Comedy on Twitter, or tune in live on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM, or you can stream the show live at wwsu1069.org.
The brutal presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence overwhelms me.
And it's time for the Life Radio Show with your host, Don Smith. If you couldn't tell by the weird interruption before our intro song. See, and there's our programming director is all confused now, too. And the GM's coming in to check.
Oh, his arms are crossed.
Yeah, we are in trouble, Scott.
There is a lot of concern going on.
I don't know
there.
what we did, but we must have broke something.
It must have been the hacky sack reference.
It was the hacky sack reference. We actually told him we weren't going to do the show. We were going to go play hacky. You look like a hacky sack player.
I used to, I was known to hack.
Hack a little sack.
Not just a hack on stage.
Yep, you were known to hack a sack back in the day.
You know it.
You know, so was I, and I lost a lot of pairs of pants playing hacky sack.
Yeah.
Because I was always the idiot that tried to go for the impossible shot.
Well, that's what the baggy corduroy was
Yeah, I
for.
know. And I never liked those. I wore jeans, and they were usually pretty tight.
Yeah.
So,
tight jeans
in
and
fact,
hacking.
one time I tried to kick way up high, and I actually managed to kick it, but my jeans were too tight, and it pulled my other leg out from under me, and I landed on my head. So
you cannot do a proper stall in skinny jeans.
No, you can't do really anything hacky sack related.
Right.
You need it's kind of like martial arts, only not nearly as cool or useful.
Yeah.
I can kick a little ball. But anyway, a little sack.
Little
it's not
sack.
even a ball. It's a little sack full of little balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Nobody cares.
No.
We've just lost any listener we could have
sure
possibly
everybody's
had.
like, what is this?
Because all
train
your
wreck?
friends were listening, and now not only are they not listening, you don't have friends anymore.
Well,
It's just me and you now.
It's a rent-to-own kind of thing.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, there you go.
Nothing changes as you get older except like your sponsored ads on Facebook. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think those get a little invasive.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
As Facebook gets more and more concerned about you.
Have you tried Metamucil? Seriously, have you tried Metamucil?
It's time to start advertising the ED pills for him.
Yeah.
You can tell by the anger in his posts.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah, his age and the anger in his posts. He needs some ED pills. Send him the Viagra ads.
They're contradictory too sometimes. Like the two ads, there used to be 4 ads. Now there's just 2, and they're usually real either or.
I don't really even pay attention to them.
Yeah. Oh, I love watching them try to figure me out, and then clicking on the ads.
Yeah, most of the ads I actually get anymore because, of course, they watch your computer. They know what website.
Yeah,
they look at your browsing history, and fortunately, I get a lot of things for the club, for Wiley, so I'm looking up, customized shot glasses, custom T-shirts, all this kind of stuff. So that's the ads I usually get, is for stuff I can customize for the club.
Yeah. I want to believe, we always say, they are watching you, they're doing this, and it's all algorithms, but still, I just so much want to believe
there's some little
that there's
weird
somebody
guy in a dark room,
and he's assigned to,
yeah.
I'm one of his clients or whatever, and he's trying to figure out what to offer me.
Like a much darker sense of a guardian angel, kind of.
Yeah. Like I want to
know which one's assigned.
Like I want to feel like there's an actual person behind you might also like this.
Makes you feel special
Yeah.
to think
There's a
that
guy
there's
that
somebody
you don't
there.
know
We're
that
getting a
loves
phone
you.
call. We're getting a phone call, so let me see if I can remember how to work this.
See if you can work a landline.
This is life. You're on the air. Hello. Let me pick the phone up over here. Is anybody there? Nobody's there. Is anybody there now? Nope, they hung up. Okay. Tech. That's
Oh man! All right.
fantastic. All right, so
They weren't trying to order a pizza.
yeah, they could have been. They could have been
I'm looking
trying
at
to
Les
order a pizza.
Nessman over here. Johnny Fever trying to work the phone.
Yeah, everything looks like it's on correctly here. Just every now and then we get that. So whoever was trying to call in, welcome to WWSU. Welcome back to the show, Ranson. Always good to have you. We never go where we shouldn't when you're here.
Right.
You are the voice of reason for the Life Radio Show.
I keep you on that fine line.
Exactly. Because that's... Yeah, it's pretty fine. And, with him is Joe Salmons.
Close enough.
Close enough. Get closer to that mic. You guys are just going to have to be like cheek to cheek. Not those cheeks, on your
He's
face.
used to
Your
that.
face, right? Not those. I wasn't talking about those cheeks, actually. Ashley Duncan is back as well, and she's very brave to come back after. It's been a while since you. I think that was
It's like a year ago.
Yeah, at least a year ago.
Because we were doing the Just Call Me Rant stuff a lot. And
yeah, are you? Have you still got the Just Call Me Rant?
I don't. I still got it. I just don't know. What
Well,
I'm
I
gonna do
mean,
with
are
it
you
yet.
still doing anything with it?
I'm
Is it still a thing?
Still holding the footage. I'm not ready to say that I'm not going to do it. How about
Okay,
that?
because there was supposed to be a scene I was going to do, and I
I
was
know.
really excited about it.
We're still
because
going
it
to do
was
that scene because that's the one episode I have, and that's all I need is that scene.
okay.
It's just a matter of doing it like probably when the weather breaks. So.
Yeah, it probably you don't want to do that scene in the cold
Right.
because it's that scene just would not work
Yeah.
in the cold.
But that scene's got to be done. It's too funny not to. So.
That's true. We also have somebody shadowing me today. I have a shadow here in the studio, but I always turn their mics on because sometimes it scares them. But he's a confident-looking young man.
I think so.
Ryan.
Yes. How's it going?
It's going good. What's your last name again?
Guffey.
If you want it out there.
Guffey.
Guffey.
Mhm.
Guffey. Okay. Ryan Guffey. Is it. So we have a full studio today,
All right.
and so far it's been all potty talk.
It has.
For the
It
most
has.
part.
But
For
we
the
just
most
now-
part.
we just now
And-
went live. So
right.
let's see
We
what
just
happens.
now went live, so let's end that right now.
Okay. We'll try.
I'm just
I'm
kidding.
not going to make it.
So, so tell me a little bit about the movie.
The movie that- the movie that you're in that you don't know the name
Snake
of.
Drain Preppers.
You'll just do
See,
anything, won't you?
I pretty much will do anything.
We're going
at
to
this
talk then after
point,
the show.
yeah.
I got another movie I want you to do.
I'm in. I don't even need to see a script.
Speaking of cheek to cheek,
I am in.
we're going to do
Oh.
a good movie.
Wow. I'll do. How much do I have to pay you for that one?
That's right. As long as you know how this works.
Better
Hey,
question:
it's-
Who else is in the movie?
Does it matter?
Good.
Yes, it sure as hell does.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
What's that?
She said it's just the two of you. So
The two of me?
Yeah, you
There's
and
only
Joe.
one of me.
Oh,
No,
hey.
$20 is $20, man.
That's see exactly.
He knows.
He knows. It
He
only
knows
costs
the deal.
only costs him
That's why
$20.
that's
He's
why he's
in.
been in all the shows. He knows. He knows.
So tell me about Snake Drain Preppers.
So it's almost done. It's really close. I know last time I was here it was close, but this is literally like within the next
So it's close.
month or two.
There's been progress. That's all.
There's a ton of progress. Yeah,
Awesome.
like I literally have almost all the editing done. Last night I was messing around getting some different filters to kind of change some of the look of it a little bit. What's that noise, Don?
Is there a noise?
Yeah, I did, but it's gone
Yeah.
now.
It could have been you. It's all in your head.
It could have been.
Most of the show is actually on your head, or it's all in my head. It's one or the other. I
Either
think I
way.
just imagine this show every Wednesday, and I'm not really here. The AAUP, the American Association of University Professors, is up in the Apollo room right now, where they're holding a budget forum. So if you're a student at this university and you actually care about your education, get up there and support your professors because they need it. And that's about all I can say because, we're actually on a university radio show, so I can't really talk about the administration a whole lot, except to say go support your professors.
Go Raiders.
Yeah, go Raiders. And also, I wanted to bring up, I have a dilemma. And it's not what I talked about over the weekend because this weekend was just crap.
Okay.
This is a separate dilemma. This in March, Gabriel Iglesias is going to be at the Wright State Nutter Center. Now, at the radio station, we are trying to get him on this show as a guest. In order to do that, his manager, publicist, whoever it is, wants a list of questions that I'm likely to ask. If anybody's ever listened to my show, I'm not exactly a list of questions type of interview. Am I, Scotty? Have I ever
No.
actually asked you a question?
No, actually, no.
So that's my dilemma. I need questions for Gabriel Iglesias. So if anybody out there wants to ask Fluffy anything, send an email with your questions on it to thelife1069@gmail.com, and I'll see if we can get some questions answered. and I'll get that list of questions together and see if I can get him on here as a guest. The Epiphany celebrations in the Portuguese village of Valle de Salgueiro, almost said it, feature a tradition that each year causes an outcry among outsiders.
Well, it's an epiphany.
Yeah.
So everybody's walking
Yes.
around with a shocked look on their face.
Yes. But it causes outcry among outsiders, parents encouraging their children, some as young as 5 years old, to smoke cigarettes. Locals say the practice has been passed down for centuries as part of a celebration of life tied to the Christian Epiphany and winter solstice. But nobody is sure what it symbolizes and exactly why parents buy the packs of cigarettes for their children and encourage them to take part. The 2-day celebrations, which start Friday and end Saturday with a mass, include dancing around bonfires, a piper playing music, and an elected, quote, king who distributes plentiful wine and snacks. So you give your kids the wine, too, I guess. The legal age to Percocets. The legal age to purchase tobacco in Portugal is 18, but nothing prohibits parents from giving cigarettes to their kids, and Portuguese authorities don't intervene to stop the practice. Guilhermina Mateus, a 35-year-old coffee shop owner, cites custom as the reason why she gives her daughter cigarettes. Her quote is, "I can't explain why. I don't see any harm in that because they don't really smoke. They inhale and immediately exhale, of course. But they don't really smoke. And it's only on these days, today and tomorrow, they never ask for cigarettes again." So maybe they have found the cure for their kids smoking, because if they never ask for cigarettes again, when they're, so they don't really smoke. They just inhale the smoke and exhale it. But they don't really smoke, Scotty.
I'm
not sure what the difference
It'd be kind of amusing to see like 355-year-old kids walking around with cigarettes and a glass of wine.
Well, you only have 2 days to do it.
Yeah.
In Portugal.
It's like Rumspringa.
Yeah. There you go. Portuguese smoking children. That's the name of this. Or smoking Portuguese children. That would be wrong.
The title of the album to the the burglar tool.
Yeah. Yep. Burglar's Tool presents a new album, Smoking Portuguese Children. Oh, we're going to hell.
And the
Scotty,
Epiphanies.
but that's all right. And the Epiphanies, yes. That's yeah. So they don't. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the idea that they don't really smoke the cigarettes. They just inhale them and exhale them.
Quick intake,
kind of like I used to do when I smoked. Because when you smoke cigarettes, you don't really hold it in.
No,
you puff, you inhale, exhale.
Exhale, yeah.
You know. Now when you're smoking some things, you hold it in, but with the cigarettes, you just So I'm trying to figure out how they don't really smoke, even though they're smoking.
Well, it worked for Clinton.
That's true.
He didn't inhale.
Yeah. He should have.
Always good to be here, Don.
It's always good to have you. Always good to have you. It's good to have a fellow nerd in here. See,
Absolutely.
Scotty's too cool for us.
Whatever.
See, we're like the Warcraft playing Dungeons and Dragons kind of. I mean, you LARP as a pirate, don't you?
I sure enough do. No shame. Planning for the next for this summer's trip. So ready to go out.
You'll have to get a hold of me because I think that would be.
Where
a
is
blast.
that going to take place?
Scotty's got the hair. I think he's in.
This is this thing called the Penzic War. It's 2 weeks out in the mountains in Pennsylvania, and it's about 11,000 people living like it's the medieval ages for 2 weeks, and it's just kind of just a constant stream of just being day drunk, night drunk, and stealing stuff from each other.
Sweet, yeah, I want to go and rob the booty.
Yeah, I bet you do. It's a pirate's life for me.
Oh, it's great.
Scotty's robbing the booty. I tell you,
my nickname is Long John Silver.
So that actually sounds like fun. I mean, it sounds like it would be a good time.
There's a lot of stuff to do. They do a lot of like there's like the jousting thing and a lot of play medieval combat. There's a lot of, I guess you could call them classes you can go to where you learn about like the medieval ages. They actually have like a gaming tent where you can go play like medieval like board games, like stuff they actually played back then that like.
What kind of board games did they play back then?
Well, there was one, and I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it, but it was like a Norse form of chess that was played with gemstones, and you had red ones in the middle that were like the kingdom, and then white ones on the outside that were like the invading forces. And you could only move the certain gems a certain way, and the idea was to capture, basically make it so the king in the center could not escape.
I was going to say, why are the white ones always the invading
I know,
forces?
like,
but I guess history shows us
I'm
that that's
sensing
how
a
it is.
trend, sensing a pattern.
That's pretty much the way it is.
Yeah, so stuff like that. There's lots of stuff to do. There's actually like a town center where vendors sell stuff. You can go buy clothes. You can go buy, weapons. You can go buy trinkets and all kinds of, old medieval style musical instruments. If you play like a drum or a lute or something like that. It goes for 2 weeks, and there's never a shortage of things to do, and it's on the lake. So
if all else fails, you can drown yourself
exactly.
in the lake.
Yeah, you're just like, you know what, not for me, and just jump in, and maybe the lady of the lake will pull you out and give you Excalibur, and you can
and you'd be king of the festival.
Exactly.
So you told me one time you were a pirate when you go to these.
So the idea is it's medieval style, but there were pirates back then, and so there's about, of all the camps that are there's like 15 or 20 actual pirate camps, and we're one of them. And we actually, the guy who is our admiral actually took a flatbed trailer and built a pirate ship camper onto it that he can like live in. And so we've got 2 or 3 of those. And so you go to our camp and we actually have pirate ships. So people walking by who went and got tents from Walmart are like, oh my God. Okay. They're committed.
They're serious.
They're committed. And then all the pirate camps have like their own games and stuff they play. We play one that's just called The Game, which is basically we go to your camp, we take something of yours, and you have to hire another pirate camp to get it back from us.
So that's not necessarily a game as it is
Pillaging.
looting.
It's theft. I mean, it's petty theft. So. But we're right by an Air Force base, and so the base will actually send planes and drones over for training exercises, and the guys who are training have to use landmarks to try and estimate what the population of the area is at the time, and they actually work with the guys who run the festival to get like what the accurate number is. So every hour you'll look up and there'll just be a drone flying overhead, and you're not sure if you're getting aerated or if you're just part of a lesson for the day. But,
so it's like partying at a Renaissance festival without all the kids stuff.
Yeah,
because that's what I used to go to, the Renaissance Festival, right. Ohio Renaissance Festival, all the time, and that's why I stopped going. It became too child oriented.
Well, and what
all the raucous, bawdy stuff had to go because they wanted the parents and their kids in there with all the money rather than the broke LARPers and the nerds that went in.
Yeah.
Well,
what they've done
is not
is
a derogatory term.
No, we rule.
Especially not nowadays.
We rule. But the first week is called Family Week, and that's when like you're encouraged to bring the kids. There's more family friendly stuff to do. It's mostly during the day. There's a curfew in place. Then the second week is called War Week, which is where it's like, if you bring your kids, that's on you.
Yeah. Because they're going to learn some stuff.
They're going to learn some things.
You're going to learn today.
What are those noises coming out of the other camp? Well, Jimmy, I guess it's time we sit down.
Yeah, we've been meaning to have this talk for a long time. You're 3.
Yeah.
So it's time you knew. I have 6 Mondays in a week, and then I have a day where I think about Monday.
No.
That's my week these days. Anyway, moving on with less bitching. Actually, Scott Summit, actor extraordinaire.
I don't know about the extraordinaire. That's the I've had other adjectives stuck to that thing, but yeah.
I have too in my act. I guess that's acting as well.
Well, that's good. You're educating people. They're using more descriptive words to to describe how much they like or dislike what it is you do.
Right. Yeah.
But hopefully you're doing it.
Well,
you're doing it right.
That's why you try only to get creative people to dislike your work. That way they're a little more. It's not.
You're right. They'll use some creative sentence enhancers. What was that? That's
right. You don't just get that was stupid, because that's the uncreative response to my everything I do that's terrible.
No, usually sometimes in cases of comedy, the stupider the better. I'll be laughing and tears will be streaming down my face. I'll be going, "That was so stupid. That was so dumb," but I can't breathe because there was just this brilliance to it and how simple and complex it was.
Yeah, there's a lot of stupid that can be funny.
Right.
Then there's some stupid that can just be sad.
This is true. But
if Facebook taught us anything,
oh my God, no.
There's a lot of sad stupid out there.
I find like I'm getting more IQ points the less and less I stay off my Facebook page.
Oh yeah.
Well, not that it's bad, but it's
Facebook. The thing about Facebook is it is a wonderful tool if properly used. Facebook is there so you can have it. I use it because I have contacts in comedy. I have contacts in acting. I have contacts in radio. That's the purpose.
Good for getting stuff out there, all your information.
It's not so I can share my personal problems. That's what the radio shows.
You're right. Okay, good. So this is like the audio version of Facebook. You're listening to Don Smith's Facebook page right now, everybody.
Yeah, this is all the whiny stuff that most normal people put on Facebook.
Right.
I like it to go over the airwaves to get it to even more people.
Yeah, spreading the misery one person at a time.
Because then I upload it as a podcast and share the link on Facebook.
Oh,
so
right.
So then
the responsibility is on them if they listen to that misery. Then they're like, I'm going to sit here for an hour and listen to that.
Yeah, if I do this is my fault now. I'm responsible.
Right. Exactly. There's a little writer at the bottom of the page that just says you click on this and you're responsible.
Yeah,
for
well, there's always a disclaimer with all
always,
shows. Yeah,
anymore it seems like they got to put.
It's just it's understood. I think.
Right.
Anything I say, I should actually just. Anything I say, I should start with a disclaimer before I even say it.
This may or may not be true.
I should have like a hat that, that my opinions do not necessarily express my opinions. I cannot be held accountable for the things I say.
Right. But, I mean, hey, you've got some great outlets like your podcast and your comedy and films and all that stuff where you can really get that out there. So it's not just sitting inside festering.
Well, if it was just sitting inside festering, I'd have another ulcer.
And I've got plenty of them right now.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, this show's about you.
No, it's about let's transform this stuff into something more upbeat. Let's encourage one another here.
Well, it's called the life. We don't want every part of the life to be disappointing.
But it's called Blue 52, and I don't know if you're familiar with the Blue 52 whale.
Yes. I couldn't say yes. I couldn't tell you all about it.
Well, I can because I'm a nerd.
Good.
It's the scientists know they're tracking a whale. It's called the Blue 52 whale, and they call it that because it's a blue whale that calls out at 52 hertz.
Oh, okay.
Which is a low A flat if you want to get nerdy and musical about it.
Oh, get nerdy.
But the problem with the Blue 52 whale is whales can't hear that frequency. So it would be like blowing a dog whistle for us. What are you doing? All right. And so therefore you can't communicate with whales. And I went, that's really sad.
So the whale can't communicate.
Whale can't communicate with other whales. Well, the other whales can't hear him.
Oh, wow.
Does that make sense? So I went, that's sad. Song.
Yep.
So yeah, I wanted to write that song, and obviously you can't get too cheesy about there was a whale and he was lonely. That's a children's book, not a depressing folk song. So I took it and mutated it into its own thing, but I wanted to write that story from a human perspective. And people are like, what's that story about? Well, it's about a whale. What? Well, it's about humans, maybe not being able, feeling like you can't communicate, but then it's like, well, is that about you? Maybe at some point it was, if I were lonely and,
Well, there's a little bit of you in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I try to take my inspiration from that kind of side of things. And yeah.
Could you sing it?
Yeah.
I could do a song I could do my Blue 52 song.
Sure.
That, everybody out there, that's called a segue.
Yeah. That's a segue.
Yeah, that's a great segue. Right. Speaking of whales,
I think I have wrote more notes on this show about different things I have to check out now than I have in any show in a long time.
Hey, that's great. It's great when you do something and you learn something too.
Yeah, it's weird. In a college, we can't have that.
I don't know.
We're not about learning. Yeah.
Yeah.
These higher halls.
This ain't one of them learning schools.
One of them learning schools. My sister learned how to walk with a big old heavy encyclopedia on her head at one of them learning schools.
Yeah. She's about 3 foot tall now.
Yeah.
So yeah, this song is aptly named Blue 52. And just to get more, because I like my nerdiness, I wrote it in A flat. Because, you know, it's got to be right at that point.
Right.
So this is actually, so I have my one album currently that is on Spotify and iTunes and all that. Takes its name from this. It's A Sea of Empty Faces is what it's called, and this is the first track on that. Standing in the middle of yet another crowd. Feel my eyes get heavy and all I want is sleep. I'm looking on a sea of empty faces filled with hopes and fears. And tables shifting round louder than I care. Are you there? Can you hear me? Are you there at all? Drift along the current, the stream, my silent question. No one seems to notice, and I just want to feel the fingerprints of warm hands, knowing that you hear me. You listen to my story, help me carry on. Are you there? Can you hear me? Are you there at all? Are you there? Can you hear me? Are you there at all? I just want to sleep. I just want to feel. I just need to know. Are you there? Can you hear me? Are you there at all? Are you there? Can you hear me? Are you there at all?
Hello there. My name is Wallace J. Crumplebottom, and when it's early in the morning, there's nothing that gets me ready for a long day of bean counting quite like a good breakfast. And there's no better breakfast than a brand new episode of The Breakfast Lads. Take it from me, I'm British, so I must know what I'm talking about. Tune in every Wednesday at 8 a.m. for a brand new episode of The Breakfast Lads. Brought to you by Eventide Entertainment.
Wednesdays on Eventide, Robert Yetter and Mike Shea sit down and throw albums at each other, talking about them, picking them apart, ripping them a new one. All different artists, all different genres, all different levels of suckage. It's Track Record, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on the Eventide podcast feed. For more information, go to eventideent.com.
Make a move and the bunny gets it.
It's one thing to perform on stage for entertainment value. It's another thing.
But when you're doing that, you're not performing for anyone.
Yeah, that's nobody but yourself.
No.
Right?
That's just like, that's your, and even when you do the LARPing live, there's not an audience that like cheers your performance. It's like the couple other weird dudes that are staring at you play your part, you know? Like, that's so, and like cosplay is a little similar, but at least when you go to like Comic-Con, there's normal people walking around and go, hey, your costume looks sweet. You take a picture,
Right.
you get validation for what you built.
Well, yeah, even if you go to a Renaissance festival, there are normal people walking around that are just visiting
who appreciate what's happening.
That's interesting.
But when these guys go out and LARP in these woods,
Because I did, when I went to the Renaissance Festival, I did used to go in costume. I wore a kilt, I sat in a pub and drank and listened to the musicians. That's what.
But you know what? Like, at least you weren't playing the part of something,
Right,
though. You know,
right.
you were just having fun. It's like St. Patrick's Day,
It's like
dressing up,
getting in the
in
spirit
green.
of it.
But like, you know, these dudes go out in the woods where like you can't find them and like play games and like sword fight with wooden dowels and they're like, oh, like they play dead. What adult plays dead? Like even these Civil War reenactors.
There are some nights at work I wish I could play dead.
Just lay down.
Yeah,
and
it's like I'm done. But the problem is I work in a hospital, so they'd cart me off to the ER and
They'd fix
a
you.
huge bill. Yeah.
Well, like
if they just pretend to fix me, I'd pay with the pretend money and we'd be good. But no,
like the Civil War LARPer reenactor guys. They don't call it LARPing; they're just reenacting. But like, guess what?
It's called Civil War LARPing. That's hilarious.
That's basically what they're doing. Like,
Sorry, that just hit me.
Because all it is, they're the original LARPers.
You are absolutely correct.
And like everyone's like that was like no, like you don't. All they reenact is the Civil War. There's like a World War II reenactors. They don't go over to.
That would be weird.
Yeah, and like start falling on the beach. You know, like
that would be
didn't
fantastic.
make it again. Like
I think Civil War reenacting just started in the South, where they were hoping they could win that time.
Yeah, like you're not like. Guess what? You're always going to lose. So like. Like, I don't know. It's like change sides, like play different ends of it. I don't know. That's whatever.
World War II reenacting. That's a bad idea right there. Oh, man. That's funny stuff. I had never really thought about it, but that should be a thing. We should start doing that. We should
World War II reenacting.
Yeah, we should start doing.
Well, we better get our hands on a bunch of planes. Because they're going down.
Yeah. Well, but there's no World War I reenacting. No. There's no Vietnam reenactment. Yeah. That doesn't happen.
In 200 years, we reenact the Iraq War. Like we're like just going to go to the desert and like fight people. Like no, it's not going to happen. So why is the Civil War? Why is that the one? You know what? Because it was only us.
Right.
So like we're fighting ourselves.
Everything else, it feels like, because nobody wants to be Jewish in a World War II reenactment. You just don't.
No.
You know, it would be.
Where's the one dude who's like, I'm Hitler?
Right, but there's going to have to be. If you're going to do a reenactment, there's always when you do a Civil War LARPing, there's
Civil War. We should.
I'm not going to call it reenacting anymore.
It's LARPing.
When you do a Civil War LARPing, there's going to be a General Lee. There's going to be a defeated side.
But guess what? Are those what do you call it? Since they're getting all the statues taken down and all like the Civil War stuff taken out, like trying to like erase it, Now, are people going to be against the reenactments because they dress like them and they're doing the same motions as them?
That's a good question because, I mean,
that's where stupidity.
Yeah,
people are like, this statue's offensive, but we're going to go out next week and redo it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the ones that want the statues down are the same ones doing the reenacting.
But their dad probably does, or their grandpa probably does it.
Yeah, probably.
You know,
they just can't talk them out of it yet. So what's been going on with you, Travis? I never thought that would take that turn right there.
I'm a stand-up LARPer. I love action role-play comedy.
Yep. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not even real. It's fake.
So it's not you. That's a reenactment of another comedian.
Yeah,
I've done that before.
Of this guy named Travis Charles.
Yeah. Was he funny?
Yeah, back in the early 2000s, he was. He was hilarious.
Awesome. Let's see if the phones are working.
They have phones in the Middle East?
Yeah, they have phones out there in the Middle East. WWSU, you're on the air.
And this is somebody calling from one of those phones in the Middle East. What's going on?
What's happening? Dan Dean, thanks for calling in from parts unknown.
Well, it's not really unknown. I'm in Kuwait right now.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Well, now we know. You're giving away positions.
Yeah, it's not
Geraldo
super top
did that,
secret at this
fired.
point. I was trying to keep it secret for a while when I first got here, and then I started looking at my unit's website on Facebook, and our public affairs office was putting out our location, so I figured, all right, it must be cool if I can do it.
Is he in Kuwait right now? He's literally in Kuwait?
That's right now.
Kuwait.
Where at?
Yeah, I guarantee you right now I am going to be the best guest that's ever been on this show from Kuwait.
That is probably true. It's gonna be hard to find a better one.
Where's Awais from?
I'm not going to lie.
Where's Awais from?
Yeah, but he wasn't.
I'm not sure.
Well, he's somewhere in the Middle East, but nobody really. I mean, he's American. Right. The guy's in America.
Yeah, where you're from doesn't count. Where you are now.
You getting a lot of sand in your skirt out there, Dan?
Well, it just falls right out pretty easy.
Yeah, we were having a discussion about Peterhead, Scotland earlier.
Yeah, Peterhead, Scotland. You know what? I bet you Dan knows where that's at.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Who's in the studio right now? I think Travis is in there, right?
Travis, Charles, and Ed John are in here with me.
What's up?
I gotcha. I don't know Ed personally, but I've seen him on Facebook quite a bit.
That's enough.
That's where you can find me. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah.
The world's finding me there.
Yeah, what are your handles, Ed?
I've got tons of handles.
Oh, okay.
Walking through the
hashtag hilarious.
Hashtag
love handles, though.
Hashtag
love handles. I think everybody in the studio has those.
Dan,
right now,
you'll have more fun walking through the desert avoiding IEDs than you will watching Ed do comedy.
One of those, huh? So he's obviously
one of those. Hold the hell on. One of those. I know what those are.
Yes.
So what's going on over there, Dan? You getting a lot of shows?
Well, there's not a lot going on this way as far as comedy. The only comedy that happens around here are the shows that I put on myself. I do a bi-weekly open mic over here, and to be honest, hell, it goes just as well as any of the shows we do back there usually.
So is there a lot of bombing in Kuwait then?
Yeah, you want to be careful saying somebody bombed in Kuwait.
I knew one way or the other when I came here I was going to bomb, and so that's how I'm making sure that happened.
Well, yeah, that's the safe way. That's the safe way to bomb is on stage.
I just imagine right now Dan is on one of those little like field phones that you got to like keep cranking it to make it work.
Yeah.
Like
he's paid somebody
a little
to crank
satellite phone.
If you can see me right now, I'm sitting behind this like solid wood desk. There are 3 computer screens in front of me. I'm sitting here with my feet propped up on my desk, no shoes on. It's not even my desk. It's actually my boss's desk. But
war is hell, Dan. War is hell.
When do you come back?
I'll be back mid-March.
Okay.
It's not exact right now, so we don't know for sure. There are some things that could push us to the right or the left either way. So sometime mid-March, I'm hoping to be sitting at home in my own kilt drinking green beer.
Gotcha.
St. Patty's Day. Yeah.
There you go. That
cool
would be
deal.
good. To be back in your kilt, I guess. Do they let you wear your kilt over there at all?
I have one of them here with me. The only time I ever wear it's when I'm doing one of the open mics.
Oh, okay. So you still
Yeah.
wear your kilt on
He
stage.
wears like a military kilt.
Well, I do when I'm at home.
It's
Well,
not
here
easy.
I don't wear that particular
Like,
camouflage kilt or one of those camouflage kilts.
Yep, Ed just said one of those. So
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where everybody is in uniform all the time. They're so used to camouflage. You don't wear that uniform when you're not in that uniform. You know, you don't wear that and show off that you're in the Army to other people who are in the Army. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I was in the Air Force. I get it.
That's
Right.
why he's always wearing his flight jacket.
yeah.
We do.
Yep, just showing it all.
Well, see, Dan wears a kilt so he can walk around and hide Wendy from people. Like
When I'm home, right?
Yeah, when he's home.
Yeah, they.
Wendy Ferguson.
I tried to do that on the way over here, but they caught us going through customs.
Yeah.
Sent her back home.
Well, you kind of got to be careful wearing your kilt when it's windy,
Yeah.
unless you're in Peterhead.
Absolutely. and it gets pretty windy here, and you get some crazy looks going around.
Yeah, I would imagine when your kilt blows up.
This
you
is
get
my
some-
rifle. This is my. Wait a minute.
Yeah. Yep, this is my drab.
That is not your
I
gun,
know, it's
sir.
a
That
kilt.
is not your gun.
You are the mixing pot, the melting pot.
Yeah.
The
That's
mixing
what-
pot.
Mixing pot. Mixing bowl, melting pot.
You're
You
the-
are a cooking utensil.
You're the guacamole then.
Yeah.
It's American great.
Yep, you are the meat slicer.
Yeah.
Ow.
You are the pastrami.
Yep. On to more important news. A flight from Dubai to Amsterdam had to make an emergency landing in Vienna after a fight broke out because one of the passengers wouldn't stop breaking wind. The fart-induced fracas happened at February 11th aboard Transavia Airlines flight HV6902 when two men sitting next to an apparently very flatulent man raised a stink about his repeated gas attacks. When the alleged perpetrator didn't stop, his disgusted seatmates reportedly complained to the airline crew, who apparently did nothing. Instead, the captain issued a warning to the two complainants, accusing them of noisy and aggressive behavior and making threats. When the freedom from flatulence fighters wouldn't stop griping about their fellow passenger, a fight broke out on the plane, according to Dutch-language newspaper De Telegraaf, or De Telegraaf, or something like that. Yeah. The pilots made an emergency stop in Vienna and removed the complainants, but apparently not the farting man. Two women sitting in the same row as the angry men were also forced off the plane as well. Apparently they didn't like the farting either. So Transavia Airlines, if you are very flatulent, you're welcome aboard their flight. You can
The airlines
see.
people.
I think if you can't smoke on a plane anymore, you ought to have to hold your fart.
I'd like to know how you do that because, my wife's been making me eat healthier because, I've kind of been under her control the last 3 weeks. And, it's like, we had vegetable soup with cabbage in it one night, broccoli the next night. And it's like, I've been jet propelled, plain and simple.
I can tell. I mean, since you've been in the studio. No. But no, I mean you're in a big metal tube in the sky, and it's pretty well closed in. It's not like it's not like you can open a window or strike a match because that make a lot of people nervous. So I guess they need extra seating in the lavatories.
I just
for
think
that
we need
reason.
a new ad campaign.
Yeah.
Target that particular niche that's not being served right now.
Yeah. That's true.
Does
yeah.
your wife have you on a high
Airlines.
fiber diet?
Yeah.
Do you
Fly the
just
flatulent skies.
do you just want to rip one without?
Yeah, I think
worrying about the people next to
Glade
you?
should have their own airline.
Maybe
Yeah.
we're giving lots of ideas to this beleaguered airline.
Yeah.
I think some great.
Well, I
commercial
think they're
partnerships.
fine with it. I think they're fine with it. It's just that because they ejected the passengers that were
Yeah,
complaining about.
Clearly,
So,
they
yeah.
stood up for the right of fartists.
Right.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Flatulence everywhere. They struck a blow.
Don, I believe they prefer the term fartists. Okay.
Do they?
Yes, not flatulent.
I'm sorry, I wasn't being
That's
politically
a
correct.
slur, Don. It's a slur.
I didn't mean
can't
to.
believe you would
yeah.
say that on this radio. I mean, then we're in a college, Don.
I forgot how sensitive fartists can be.
I mean, I think the Bean Association might be.
Well, yeah,
at
least
they
they're
could
not
create a
starving
partnership.
fartists. That would be
There'd be-
terrible.
That's one thing you can say for artists. Unlike artists, they
I'm
are
worried
not
we're about to
starving.
see flying monkeys right about now. So
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know what's coming up in here. For the first time, a U.S. state has legalized marijuana with the stroke of a pen, not a vote at the ballot box. Vermont Governor Phil Scott on Monday, this is a couple Mondays ago, signed into law House Bill 511, which legalizes the possession of marijuana up to an ounce and removes penalties for possession of up to 2 mature marijuana plants and up to 4 immature plants. Well, if you have 4 immature plants, eventually you'll have 4 mature ones. So why does that makes no sense at all.
You're just getting rid of them as you go, maybe.
Yeah, that's like limiting you to 4 children, but only 2 adult children. So 2 of those have got to go. That's
curious.
The legislation says nothing about creating a state market for recreational weed. However, the new law will go into effect in July. Scott said, today, with mixed emotions, I have signed House Bill 511. I personally believe that what adults do behind closed doors and on private property is their choice, so long as it does not negatively impact the health and safety of others, especially children. With Scott's signature, Vermont will join 8 other legal weed states, as well as Washington, D.C., in a growing movement away from federal law, which still classifies marijuana as a Schedule I substance alongside heroin and LSD, which never made sense to me. Yeah. Vermont legalized medical marijuana in 2004 and is currently among nearly 30 states, plus the territories of Guam and Puerto Rico and District of Columbia, with such programs in place.
Well, good for Vermont.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The only thing that worries... it doesn't really worry me. I'm a firm believer in the Second Amendment, but Vermont, you ever heard the term Vermont carry? See, Vermont, like here, we have to have a permit for concealed carry. Vermont is a free carry state.
Really?
You don't have to have a permit to carry concealed.
Did not know
open.
that.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yes, Vermont is one of the... Vermont and Alaska, I think, are the only 2 states that you actually don't need any training or any permit.
Well,
to carry
Alaska
a
makes
concealed
sense
firearm.
with all the grizzlies, all the
right. Vermont,
that's I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's all the maple syrup. I don't know what.
You don't want people taking your syrup.
Yeah, but it's so close. It's just because it's close to the Canadian border.
Or
a lot of rough stuff going on there.
I'm surprised it took them that long with Ben and Jerry's being there. With legalize
weed. Oh
weed.
yeah, absolutely. That's
Ben and Jerry's is going to boon.
Oh yeah,
in July.
They need a pot flavored ice cream now.
I'm surprised. I'm sure it's
not pot flavored because that would kind of stink.
Yeah,
but they do need to. There needs to be an edible weed ice cream.
Those guys keep putting some crazy stuff.
It
would never surprise me.
Ben and Jerry Garcia. Well, they have Cherry.
They have Cherry Garcia.
Already,
they do.
They
do.
Yeah, they'd have to come up with something else clever for weed ice cream.
You ever look on their graveyard of all the old flavors that never made it? Oh, there's some ones in there that you look at and you're like, oh, that could be good, and then you realize it's an entire pint of it. Maybe the first couple bites would be all right, and then beyond that.
Yeah, that's true. You get something with an aftertaste to it, really wouldn't be good at all.
So, yeah, it's you don't want to linger a little bit with those flavors.
Yeah, that's true. That could be rough. Thanks for listening to the Life Radio Show podcast. Check us out on Eventide Entertainment Podcast Network or wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember, if you want to listen live, we're on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM with a repeat broadcast on Wednesdays from noon to 2, or you can always stream the show live at wwsu1069.org. If you have suggestions or comments, feel free to email the life1069@gmail.com.
Overwhelms me. The brutal presence.